Hello and welcome to the Retro Replay. I'm your host, Retro Nick. Now, it's often the case that certain games and consoles don't get released over here in the UK or in America sometimes. And it's often quite strange to think that something so successful never gets released in other parts of the world. Don't know what I'm on about? Well, let me introduce you to the PC Engine. Yes, believe it or not, this little console was more popular in Japan than the Sega Mega Drive, which is hard to believe. All the classic games and how well it did over in Japan and other various parts of the world. It's hard to believe that this sort of thing could be more popular than Mega Drive. But although this was released in America, known as the TurboGrafx 16, it wasn't so popular over there, but still had its fair share of fans, even to this day. So, well, want to know more about it? Well, let's take a closer look. Here's a closer look at the system. As you can see, it's a Core Graphics Edition, quite a popular model. Not the rarest, but the rare ones would usually go for about hundreds, maybe thousands of pounds on eBay, depending on condition, if it's boxed and all that good stuff. Here's a power switch, so once the games have been put in, you can flick it across to stop the cards from being pulled out, which could damage the system if you do so, and you turn it off like so. Very handy. One controller input, which is strange, but the good thing is that there is an adapter out there for up to 5 controller inputs to be put in, which can connect to this, so you can have 5 players playing at once, like on a game such as Bomberman or something. But you'll have to be lucky enough to find another 4 people to play with you. I'm not saying you're friendless, but you know, it is difficult, especially for me. AV output, which is handy, especially if you don't have an old TV. On the back we have an extension port for the CD add-on, which I don't currently have, but I am hoping to get one eventually. And usually you don't get the back covers for this, so I'm happy to have a back cover on this originally, because once someone gets the CD add-on, they usually just like throw this away, and that's it. There we go. Hopefully I'll be able to get a CD add-on eventually, and I'll do a review for that. And on the other side we have power inputs, which, although I don't have the official charger for it because this is a Japanese system, Mega Drive Model 1 power supply will work fine, and I'm sure various other chargers might work fine as well, but you have to be careful with that, because I don't know. But we'll take a closer look at the controller. Here it is, basically the same style as an NES controller. You got your D-pad here. You have your select, run, basically a start button. Your number 2, your number 1, and you have your turbo buttons here, to especially quite useful for shoot 'em ups and games like that, where you need to keep pressing the button. But yeah, this like the design of this controller, it's really good and matches the console perfectly. So yep, that's really good, and I'll show you the games. A small collection of PC Engine games I have currently. I'm hoping to expand this collection in the near future. First off, we have Xrd, I think. Yeah, it's Xrd. No, I don't know the title of this. I can't read the title. It's in fact World Circuit, which is a racing game. This is a shoot 'em up called Energy. Can't read that, but that's a title, trust me. And one I'm sure we can all read perfectly is Bomberman, and a classic game to most people. On the back, there's no pictures or anything, or screenshots, which is unusual. Later casings and games usually had screenshots on, but this sort of design shows you this game was released in the early lifespan of the system. On the side is the name and the volume number. And if we take a look inside, here's the game, which is a Hue card. Oh, that's interesting. Got English instructions for you. Don't bend, drop, or subject to shock. Keep away from static electricity, heat, water, and direct sunlight. Please put back into the case after you played. Okay, well, it's simple enough English to understand. So this is Bomberman, obviously a classic to many gamers, and this is the most English-friendly game I've come across at the moment because, as you can see, it's plain English, so you can easily understand it. And while I'm not a big fan of Bomberman, what I mean to say is I haven't really played that much Bomberman, but this is basically a puzzle game, but it's a fun little puzzle game. Now, here's round one. I'm just going to quickly show you what the game's like. I'm not going to go in depth or anything, but just to give you a general idea what the game's like. So, the main aim of the game is to use your bombs, because you're a Bomberman, obviously. And you blow up bricks and walls and blow up your enemies using bombs, and you can also pick up power-ups as you go along. It's a fun little game, actually, especially fun if you do co-op with another player. I believe the Sega Saturn version has up to 10 players, so you can imagine what that would be like. Absolute chaos, but fun nonetheless. And it may not look like I'm not doing a good job, but I ain't doing much of a good job. You see, I haven't had that much experience with this game, so I can't really say how well I'm doing or not. But yeah, it's probably the best game I currently have for the PC Engine. I'm sure this has been released on several different consoles over the years. And oh, how the hell was I supposed to know that was coming? Come on! And you can actually get stuck by the bombs, which is annoying, but yes, overall a game you should try out if you're ever going to get a PC Engine. Definitely worth checking out. The next game, World Circuit, is more or less a racing game. Well, it is a racing game, I should say. And unlike the last game, Bomberman, it's a little hard to understand as it's in Japanese. You can probably see why I'd struggle to understand because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, what I'm clicking. But other than the main menu, the game itself seems self-explanatory. You just drive forward, nothing complex about that. Once you can work out how to move, that is. Yeah, the controls seem fairly responsive, probably a little too responsive, but it feels quite realistic in this way, as this system would actually be. As realistic as it can be, I mean. And after working out how to get to the actual race, because I got on the practice one, I found I couldn't pass any of the other drivers. I don't know if it was just me, or if I was doing something wrong, or if it was just part of the game, I don't know. I get easily overtaken, so probably not the best game I've got, but not a terrible game at that, so I'll let it pass. Probably down to the fact I can't understand it, and then I get stuck and I can't move for whatever reason. Strange. Very strange. Okay, so some people pronounce this Xrd, or however you want to pronounce that title there. There's a lot of heavy text in this game, so if you're not a reader of Japanese or you can't translate it, then you're going to struggle to play this game, as I have. Now, I'm sure it has a decent story mode and that, but I just can't understand it other than the plain English it sometimes comes with it. And it's hard to skip this bit where the characters keep talking. It's just like, I don't care, just get me to the game. I just want to play the game. I was actually surprised to find out that this was a tactics game. Not that I'm against the tactics games, but if it's text-heavy Japanese and I can't read Japanese, there's a slight problem there, isn't there? But don't get me wrong, I'm sure this is a great game in its own right, or good game at the very least, but if I can't understand how to do anything, especially the controls are fine, but it's just if the options I can't understand, because if I press something I get text, more text about something, and I can't understand what I'm supposed to do. So it's just like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just summon robots? That's what I'm guessing you can do, but I don't know exactly how to do it or what else I have to do to play this game. Now, I am a fan of tactic games, but if I can't play it, it does cause problems. I'm sure in its own right it is a good game. If it wasn't so text heavy, if it was just simple and easy to follow. From what I can tell, you play at least 2 different players. At least, or I don't know, but... Now for the last game, Energy, which is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, which you'd think would be cool. I mean, the PC Engine is well known for its side-scrolling shoot-'em-ups and all that good stuff, so you'd think this would be a good game. You get a lot of text again, and guess what? I try and skip this, and just guess what happens? It takes me back, so try not to skip. It punishes you for skipping. So when you get to the game, it does look good. At first glance, it does look good. You get to shoot sort of green slimy aliens or bogies or whatever they're supposed to be. I mean, it's responsive enough. The controls are responsive enough. So this is one of the problems. Loading the screen. It's not terrible. I'll admit that it's not a terrible loading screen, but come on. I mean, isn't the PC engine supposed to be a little bit faster? It's like CD-ROM loading times. Just look at it. It's a bit slow for my liking, that's all I'm saying. But it can cause problems. When you go to the next screen, loading, you get hit by an enemy, and it takes you back to the other screen, and before you get back to the other screen, you have to load it up again. Slowly. Not the worst I've ever seen, but not the greatest either. I mean, as I've said, it is responsive, the controls, but it seems very tight, because you die once, game's over. Not terrible, but nothing great at the same time. So overall, what can I say about the PC Engine? Well, it's a great little system. I do actually love the system, actually. Well, in the sense of I enjoy this console, not in that way. But anyway, this is a console that you should check out if you're serious about collecting imported games or a collector of Japanese games. Bear in mind though, RPG games or text-heavy games will be hard to understand, but more or less it'll be easy to follow most games. I mean, if you're a shoot 'em up fan, this is one to check out, definitely. It's got some great shoot 'em up titles. I can't name them all, I don't know them, but yeah, it's a great little system, and there are various models, so if you want to collect for all of them, or if you just want a certain model, then go for whichever you prefer, depending on design. And that, I mean, I know some are quite rare, especially like the portable PC engines. They're extremely rare and very pricey on eBay, but yeah, if you can find something like this or anywhere, and if you're willing to pay the import costs and the shipping, then try it out. Or if you go to your nearest retro shop that does imported games and maybe does these now and again, then it's worth checking out. I would recommend it, but only like for those who are hardcore, either Japanese importers or hardcore gamers. That's what I would recommend to most of you out there, but entirely up to you. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but definitely one you should check out, or at least look into. So there we are, people. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm Retro Nick, playing the good, the bad, and the retro. And until next time, I'm Retro Nick, playing the good, the bad, and the... So, that Mr. Retro Nick thinks he's so special. Wow. Mr. Retro Nick, I think it's about time that you met your darkest self.